Enjoy your walk?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. Absolutely gorgeous surroundings to be walking in.
Aren't we lucky to live in such a lovely place?
We really are, aren't we?
Benji, did you enjoy your walk?
Of course he enjoyed his walk. Budgebadoo. It's all attached. Eh? That wet.
So, we're still getting quite a lot of damp up here, despite the stonemasons doing the work on the outside wall. And I don't know whether rain water is still getting in somehow, or whether it's just because the wall is so saturated because it's been wet for so long that it's just taken ages to dry out. And now that we've got the new multi-fuel burner stoves installed, it's really pumping out the heat into this cottage, and we've been told that the wall will look as though it's crying, it's starting to sweat because it's drawing the moisture out of the stone, which is exactly what we want. But the problem is, up here we've got just this kind of cheap, what is that? There's wood up here, plyboard, and we think the water is coming out of the stone, sitting on top of the plyboard, and it's basically rotten. It's been like this for quite some time. Even this chunky wooden windowsill is rotten, so you can tell this damp wall issue has been an issue for quite a while. More alarmingly, when we looked the other day, there was tears coming down the inside of the window recess here. It was literally just pouring down. Adam had candles on the windowsill, and every time the water was dripping down, it was putting the candles out. It's just not good. So
It's soaking.
Yeah, soaking wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this wood from the top of the recess and have a look and see what's going on. Hopefully it'll just be stone up there, and by removing the wood it'll really help towards drying the wall out.
Bloody hell.
But it's absolutely dripping wet. Bloody hell. Yeah, that has been soaking for ages, hasn't it?
Years.
Yeah. Oh, you can smell it as well.
Oh, stinking.
You can just smell the damp, but
Could this buy an old cottage, isn't it?
it's not even just stone. What is that?
I think it's insulation and wood. We'll discover what it is in a minute. God, that screw was just going straight through that. Yeah, a bit of damp.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Oh, it stinks.
Benji, out of it. Come on. Yeah, that insulation. Oh my God. Absolutely soapy.
No wonder it was dripping. Look how wet that is.
Yep.
Oh God, is that wood as well?
Yeah.
Oh man.
She's rotten this. Which is why the end of these walls cry.
Dear God, once you start porking, you uncover more stuff. It really is like opening a can of worms sometimes, isn't it? So what's the next steps with this?
This piece of wood's got to come out
Yeah.
because it's rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Then replace it with a new bit of wood. And just let it dry out. Just leave this totally exposed like it is.
Oh dear, it never rains but it pours with this cottage. Let's leave this to dry out for now and we'll come back to it later. In the meantime, let's see what's just arrived in the post.
Gonna come in for a look.
Benji?
Da, 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 da. How nice does that look? So these are cast iron signs for the cottage that we've had commissioned.
Amazing.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
That's heavy.
It is quite heavy. That's going to be absolutely stunning. So these are bespoke made for us. The foundry that made them, so I explained that we were doing this whole vlog thing on YouTube and everything, and I asked him if he could send some pics of behind the scenes making of these over to me. I did ask for some video clips, but he was like, no, I can't do video, not while I'm working. But he very kindly sent some pics over with descriptions for each picture on throughout the entire process of the moulding of the cast iron signs and the painting and all the rest of it. So that's quite cool, isn't it?
Mm. That looks really smart.
It does, doesn't it? And we asked him for the hex value for the colour as well. So if there is anything else that we want to paint the same colour, we can do. Because I know Adam's got this vintage post office box.
Yeah, that'd look great if I could match the same colour and...
So he's been talking about putting that in the garden just for a decorative piece. We need to make sure people don't start putting letters and cards and things in, thinking it's an actual post box though. Unless there's money in it, that's fine.
Bonios!
But yeah, if we could paint that this colour, that would look stunning, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 of these, one to go on the front of the cottage and one to go on the side.
We had the signs for the cottage bespoke made by RidgeQuest Foundry, a small family-run business based in Lincolnshire, England. Stephen at RidgeQuest very kindly took photos of the entire process of our signs being made so that I can show you guys, along with a brief description of each step along the way. First, the foundry pattern is set up with our cottage name. The pattern is placed on a foundry moulding box and dusted with release agent so that the moulding sand doesn't stick to the pattern surface. Their natural clay bonded foundry sand is firstly riddled on the surface of the pattern and then backed up as shown. Then the sand is rammed into the foundry moulding box. This will make a negative impression of our sign. The box is turned over and the process is repeated. After this, the box is separated, and here you can see our sign moulded in negative reverse. The top box is suspended on the crane, and you can just make out the pouring hole. Both boxes are closed and weighted, ready for the molten metal. The moulds are poured with molten aluminium. Then the box is split open and the solidified casting is shown. The sign has the runner and riser system cut off, and all outside edges have been ground and filed by hand with sharp edges and corners rounded off. The entire surface has been scraped and sanded by hand to make the surface smooth. Countersunk fixing holes are drilled, and the surface of the sign has been grit blasted to provide extra paint adhesion. A heavy coat of acid etch primer is applied. Then 2 coats of the muddy green gloss and 3 coats of gold decoration are applied. Then finally 2 coats of clear lacquer are applied and our gorgeous handmade signs are ready.
All this time you have been on my mind, and all the reasons why we're still in love. Days go by, flowers they bloom and die, all the while you and I, we're still in love.
Good morning. Back to work for the both of us. Holidays are well and truly over. I'm back to the grindstone. So I'm just taking a quick coffee break while I take the Labrador out for a walk, and just got me thinking about some of the projects that we have in mind for the year ahead. So I haven't really started anything yet because, as I said, it is the first Monday back to work after the holiday period, but some of the things that we have in mind for the year ahead with regards to renovations and refurbishments with the cottage and things like that. So a bit of an update with regards to where we are currently and what we have planned. So you may remember just before Christmas, we shortly after we moved in, we started working on the master bedroom, and we built the wardrobes, and obviously we've now got the stove reinstated in the bedroom.
So I think the next project is going to be to decorate the bedroom and lay new flooring. So currently we have carpet in the bedroom, and I know quite a few people have said keep the carpet, it'll be nice and warm and cozy. Carpet in the cottage just isn't suitable when you have pets. It's not hygienic. It's just more difficult to clean. So we're going to lift the carpet up, which looks as though it's been there for quite some time anyway. And the plan is to lay wood flooring, or probably engineered wood flooring, which I've heard has the same kind of feel and texture as wood flooring, but because it's engineered, it's more suitable for more resilient to changes in temperature and things like that. It's a little bit more forgiving than solid wood flooring, so I've heard. So I think that's next on our list to do, and then following that will be to redecorate the bedroom, as in repaint it, finish off the wardrobes that we started earlier on, later on last year rather, and just make them appear a bit more bespoke, a bit more fitted, and give them a lick of paint as well. And yeah, so I think it'll be nice to have at least one room in the cottage that will be completely finished, and that will be our nice little haven that we can retire to at the end of the evening, and it's exactly how we want it. So yeah, I think that will probably be the next project that we work on. There are bigger projects, such as reconfiguring the layout in the living room and removing that spiral staircase, but the difficulty here is how we can then access the upstairs room safely and conveniently. So I did have an architect come out and take a look at, so my office is just up there at the top of the gable, just below the chimney there. I did have an architect come out just before Christmas to take a look at the space and give some suggestions and his thoughts on what we could do. It is not going to be a simple project. Apparently, because of building regulations and things like that, there are limited head height at the top of the stairs and the bottom of the stairs. I think it has to be at least 2 meters high or something, the head height. Which it isn't, definitely not at the top of the stairs, because obviously the spiral staircase, the way it goes up, you're straight into the eaves of the roof, so you have the sloping ceiling. It isn't 2 meters. The only way to have the staircase and allow 2 meters head height would be to literally have the staircase slap bang in the middle of the living room, which obviously isn't an option. So a couple of the other suggestions were to join, if I stand this side, above the kitchen, Adam's workshop, join that part of the roof to the main cottage, and just access both rooms via one staircase. But that definitely isn't without its challenges and its issues either. So we will need to speak to an architect again and get some thoughts, get some drawings and some plans, and see what options are available to us. And all of this is subject to the appropriate planning consent as well anyway. Like I said, we do have the issue with not having enough head height at the top of the stairs and things like that, but that's a big project. I'm not even convinced that project will be finished or even be started on this year in 2025. So that will definitely be further down the line. What else? So smaller projects. We are going to get a gate put on the end of the driveway just by the side of the cottage. In fact, we already have a gate. So last year, Adam and I measured the width of that to see what size gate we would need. We're just about to measure this gap at the end of the driveway so we can buy a gate, because a certain furry little piglet keeps doing the Great Escape.
Don't you?
The landlord from the pub brought him back to the house today after he'd escaped out the back door. There he was, strutting to the pub, standing at the bar, waiting to be served for a pint.
You after a pint? Right, so from there to the door.
Right up to the stone wall?
Yeah.
300.
3 meters.
But the stone wall goes that way, remember?
Right, so
From there, 282. So call it 280.
yeah.
We went ahead and purchased the gate, and then of course winter set in, and Christmas and everything like that. Now that the holiday period is over, we will hopefully over the coming weekends try and fix that gate. But again, that's not just a case of bolting the gate to the wall. The walls of the cottages, thick stone, solid stone. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, attaching the gate. I think Adam said we probably will need to drill down into the ground somehow and fit posts, because it's a big gate. Obviously we don't want it, you know, falling off its hinges or anything like that. But the main reason for putting a gate there is just to keep this furry little piglet in the garden, so he doesn't keep escaping to the pub, which we don't mind, but obviously we don't want it, we don't want to lose him. So that's one of the smaller projects that we'll hopefully have completed over the coming weeks. Another bigger project is figuring out what to do with that platform area at the back of the living room, if you remember that. So I think we're going to take on your advice. Quite a few of you had suggested extending that platform area out to make it a little bit more usable, have some nicer steps leading down into the main part of the living room. I'm not entirely sure what we would do with that space on top of that platform. My original idea was to have some kind of a whiskey snug or something like that, but thinking about it now, I don't think there will be enough space to have that as a whiskey snug. But we could definitely keep the cabinet there, the drinks cabinet and everything. Whether or not we put a little seating area up there, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I think the way forward with that is definitely to extend that area out, have storage underneath, have cupboards or pull-out drawers underneath, and just make that safe, a little bit more usable and more safe. Then of course there is my office to decorate, and the plan for that is to build in some storage and just make things a little bit more. It's quite a small space up there, the space that I'm currently using as my office. So the plan is to utilize the space as best as I can, and I think the way forward with that is to build in custom bookcases and cupboards and things just to hide all the stuff away. Probably not going to touch that room though until we figure out what we're going to do with the spiral staircase in the living room, which obviously leads up to my office space. There is no point decorating or doing anything, anything in terms of reconfiguring the space upstairs until we resolve the staircase issue, the spiral staircase issue. So again, that's probably a longer term goal. Whether or not that will be achieved this year, who knows. And I think aside from that, other things that we have in mind is just working on the garden again. Obviously it'll be really nice to see what plants are in the garden once the warmer weather returns. So we don't actually have too many plans just yet with regards to this garden. However, the other garden round the back of the cottage, we do want to make, although that's the practical garden that has the storage shed for the logs and houses the oil tank and things like that, we do want to make it a little bit more nice. So some of the ideas we have there is just to kind of build some kind of a wooden screen going right the way across where the oil tank is and the log storage shed. Just to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing when you head around that back garden. And of course, one of the other ideas that I had was to build some kind of a summer house or an outdoor kind of garden room or something like that. That can also be used as an outdoor office in the warmer months. But again, that is going to be quite a big project. It would be nice to have that done this year, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see.
And one of the other things we plan on doing plenty of this year is spending more time outdoors. And why wouldn't we? Just look at the beautiful surroundings we live in. So whether that be spending more time outdoors walking Benji, or more time outdoors exploring the beautiful countryside, perhaps camping, picnics, whatever. Spending more time outdoors is definitely good for the mind and the soul. And of course, one of the other things we plan on doing sometime soon is to rake out the old cement mortar from the inside of the stone wall of the cottage and repoint with lime mortar. So obviously, as you guys know, we had the exterior done of this wall last year. We had the stonemasons come out and strip off all of the old cement render and cement mortar and repoint with lime mortar. Now we just need to do the inside, and then that wall will be fully breathable and hopefully damp free.
Well folks, that's it for this week, and we hope you enjoyed this laid back episode. It's been a slower paced week as we settle back into work after the holidays, but this time of year is perfect for reflecting and looking ahead to some of the plans that we're excited to share with you. If you enjoyed watching, don't forget to give us a like and hit the subscribe button, as it really does help us out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.